interesting story in Think Progress that I would encourage you to take a look at. And it's kind of a two-sided story. Earlier in the week, Breitbart News broke what's really a kind of a longstanding security protocol, which is you don't put out information about where the children of the president are going to be vacationing ahead of time because it's an obvious security issue. And Breitbart News decided to break that long-standing security protocol, and they put out a story which explained the precise location where President Obama's daughters are vacationing this week. Now, I'm not going to repeat that because, of course, that would be I would make myself part of the problem. So then, on Wednesday, yesterday, we know Congressman Steve King, Republican from Iowa. He used the Breitbart report, which was published, of course, breaking the security protocol, to attack the first daughters and broadly to kind of further this narrative that President Obama is doing outrageous types of personal spending, even though where were they when George W. Bush was doing the exact same thing, and actually used that report to be critical of the spending that exists there. So, number one, Breitbart breaks security protocol. Then Steve King responding to a caller on what program was this? The name of this program is the Mickelson in the Morning. It's an Iowa-based radio show. I'm not familiar with it. He actually uses that information, which shouldn't even have been made public, to then further criticize the president. Listen to the caller.
Hi, good morning. I have a couple of things to say. First of all, my son is a Marine. He's in TBS, Training Basic School for Officers, and they have a celebration at the end of their graduation where the families can come and celebrate their success and kind of experience what they've been doing. Part of that is called Warrior Days, where the families can come. They can either run the gauntlet or the endurance course, eat the food.
Of course. But let's get on now to the question, which is the criticism.
It's kind of a party atmosphere, and that has been canceled, completely canceled, wiped off because of sequestration, which I could understand, especially if they're counting bullets. But nonetheless, when I see the First Lady and the beautiful girls going off to the Bahamas,
right,
waving goodbye to us, it's really hard to stomach. When we're tightening our belts, we should either all do it or none of us do it. But I am pretty tolerant. I always have been. I usually shut my mouth, and this is not acceptable.
Here we go.
And Carla, you're on point and on the mark all the way through. And we have had some intense, especially interior debates on how we're going to get some resources back into the defense side of this. And in the end, whatever minor changes we were able to make didn't affect this in that way. You're right on the president. I mean, he needs to show some austerity himself,
right,
and instead he seemed to want to tell America how bad it was going to be. There was a memo that was leaked out of the USDA that essentially came from the White House and essentially said this: do not let the pain of sequestration be less than that is predicted by the president. And so we've got the president doing these things. He sent the daughters to spring break in Mexico a year ago. That was at our expense too, and now to the Bahamas at one of the most expensive places there. That is the wrong image to be coming.
This is becoming the new criticism. This is the criticism of the Republican Party now. The focus on the Republican side, and we heard it at CPAC from Michelle Bachmann making up that President Obama has, he's got a dog walker and there's 5 chefs on Air Force One, and it's all totally different than when it was George W. Bush. So 2 issues here. Number one, if this is the focus on the Republican side right now, it's pathetic, and it makes it very, very clear that where are the real criticisms, right? The focus is on the vacations and using breaches of security protocol to talk about President Obama's daughters. But number 2, it shows the hypocrisy, because where were these complaints when George W. Bush was in office, taking more than 3 times as much vacation as President Obama, jobs being shipped overseas, homes losing value, healthcare rates skyrocketing, stock market crashing? Where were all of the Tea Partiers screaming life of excess when George W. Bush was taking month-long vacations? Where were they? They just weren't there. It's hypocritical, but it also shows the weak standing of the modern Republican Party.
It does. It is telling in that regard. And I mean, come on. If anyone deserves a vacation now and then, and I'm not talking months at a time, or sorry, maybe not months, but 1 month at a time, like George Bush, several times a year. I'm talking, a week a week or two.
Few days.
I think the president deserves a vacation now and then.
And again, is it not like he isn't always working? And this applies to any president. Very, very sad state of affairs right now, Lewis.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Facebook.com/David Pakman Show. Join us on Facebook, closing in on 20,000 Facebook likes. Next, I will talk to Omaha Democratic Mayor Jim Suttle about gun control. Stay with us.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.